I'd be very interested to hear how you think climate change and peak oil interrelate and why they demand a certain type of response.
Well, climate change and peak oil are really two aspects of the same problem, which is our addiction to fossil fuels. But they both have distinct kind of characteristics, and I think it's impossible to look at developing workable, practical solutions to either of them without taking the other one into consideration. And Richard Heinberg talks about them like climate. Peak oil is using the analogy of a car. Peak oil is about looking at what you put into the tank. Climate change is about looking at what comes out of the exhaust pipe. And I think people are instinctively more concerned about what's going into the tank than what's coming out of the exhaust pipe. I think as well, from an activist point of view, trying to get people engaged and trying to get people to do something, the great thing about peak oil, much more than climate change, I think, is that it's very powerful at putting a mirror up to a community to say, where is the resilience gone in this community? Where is this town's ability to withstand shock gone? Where has what supported it before cheap oil was here gone? Climate change doesn't do that so much. Climate change says we really should do something here. Peak oil says we're going to have to do something very, very soon. There's no room for that. But at the same time, with peak oil saying we have to do something very soon, the key thing is that what we do is underpinned by an awareness of climate change. Because the danger with peak oil is that it can be used by some very unpleasant people to usher in a whole new wave of coal to liquids, tar sands extraction, and all the things that are lined up to replace oil. If we continue with this fantasy that we can keep everything going as it is at the moment, all the things that will replace oil will make us look back to oil as with great fondness. So we really have to be very, very cautious about that. I think the difference is if we just purely are looking at carbon footprints all the time, it doesn't take us far enough, because in the transition towns concept, one of the big issues is this thing of resilience. The ability to withstand shock. So I read a little while ago in the newspaper, they said that New York had been identified in some big survey as the place where you could live in kind of developed world with the lowest carbon footprint, because it's very dense and it's all very your heating can be very low because you're getting your heat from all your neighbours, and you don't have to drive a car because you can walk and everywhere, which is fine. But then at the same time, when you look at peak oil and you take peak oil into that and you say, well, how dependent is this place on cheap fossil fuels? And we saw that in New York when there was the power outages a while ago. It's incredibly vulnerable. So really we have to weave those two together, I think.